I am pleased to introduce Kurt Johnson on behalf of my wife, who's traveling for business this week. Kurt is the founder, director, and teaching artist at Sounds Academy. Kurt's organization is a nonprofit. It's a music education organization that teaches, mentors, and provides musical experience and opportunities for underserved youth. Some of the specific programs are giving instruments to students that cannot afford one of their own, teaching students how to play those instruments, and teaching students how to use music as a service opportunity by performing at hospitals, shelters, and retirement homes. Kirk's unique approach teaches that character values of creativity, leadership, perseverance, resilience, and teamwork through music education. He began his musical journey in Boston, Massachusetts, with Project STEP. Through this program, he learned to play the violin and viola, took theory classes, and participated in chamber music and orchestral playing. Kurt graduated with a BM in viola performance and a Master's of Education from Indiana University. Go Hoosiers. After teaching music in public school and conducting youth orchestras, Kurt founded Sounds Academy in 2013. Let's give a hearty Rotarian welcome.
Sounds Academy has been around for the past 5 years, and we started in 2014. And I just want to ask you guys a few questions here. If you've played a musical instrument in your life, clap twice. If music has had a positive influence in your life, clap twice. Well, unfortunately, this is something that over 50% of the students in Arizona cannot clap to, because Arizona schools spend less than $1 per student per year on arts education. And regardless of all the statistics, all the research that has been put in that lets us know that students that are in music programs excel in their overall studies, graduate at higher rates, and have higher critical thinking skills, music programs are still being cut. Music, to me, can be used as a preventative before students turn to destructive behavior. Something else that I noticed, that even though there are some places in Arizona that do have music programs, if we look at West Phoenix, if we look at South Phoenix, they don't have music programs in those schools, in those areas. And there are musicians that want to help. I believe that the zip code of a child should not dictate their access to music education, and out of this belief, Sounds Academy was born. So we were born as a music education organization that teaches, mentors, and provides musical experiences and opportunities for underserved youth. So we essentially take musicians that want to teach and connect them with young musicians that want to learn. So we do this through 4 main programs. Our first program is our musical access program. So our musical access program is what we use to expose children to live music and instruments through our instrument petting zoos. What's an instrument petting zoo? Great question, John. An instrument petting zoo is when we take a room like this and we put instruments in it, and kids come in and they get to try the instruments. So they try the instruments and they say, oh, this is cool. They get excited about it. And all of them, of course, want to do what? They want to play an instrument. So then that's when we set up satellite stations in places around the valley, and we have our school program. So our school program allows us to teach students in small group settings, and they learn the fundamentals of instrument playing. We do this during school and after school. Then we have our solo program. Our solo program are for those students that they want a little bit more, and they are able to do one-on-one lessons, and they get a mentor that guides them through playing solos, our character values, all those things. And then last but not least, we have a program that we started this year. And so with this program, what we had was, there were some students that still wanted to do more. And we were sending some students to youth orchestras around the valley, and they were feeling isolated. They felt like there weren't people that they connect with there. They felt like they weren't good enough to be there. So although they were, they didn't feel like it, and they didn't have any friends there. And then we noticed that we could be doing a better job as well of giving them higher level music. So we decided to start a group called The Collective. And so what The Collective focuses on is that group and music theory lessons, and they do higher level ensemble music. Now, all of our programs circulate around our character values, and our character values are creativity, leadership, perseverance, resilience, and teamwork. So when we first started, we started with just a handful of students. And so we started in a little room, and we got about 10 students in this room. So I want you to remember, we started with just a handful of students, about 10 of them. When it comes to Sounds Academy as a whole, we have our board of directors that helps us to lead governance, develop things of that nature, strategic planning. And then we have our schools and our partnerships. So that's where we do our programs. That's where we connect with universities to connect our students to collegiate opportunities and such. Of course, we need our donors and our grantors that help to fund some of the things that we do. And then we have our legwork people, our volunteers and our teachers. And those individuals help to teach the students, teach them the character values, things of that nature. And then we have our parents and, of course, the face of our organization, our students. And then we use our programs and our events to elevate everything that we're doing so that the public can see some of the things that we're doing in the Valley, in the community. Our students come from over 35 zip codes between Goodyear and Mesa. Phoenix is a very spread out land, and so we find it important to find those places in Arizona that don't have those music programs that I mentioned before. 83% of our students are considered lower income. So for us, that means they are within 150% of the federal poverty level. And then we have a very diverse group of students, most of which are of Hispanic descent. The partnerships that I mentioned before, we can't do this on all our own. So when we first started, we had those handful of students, and now we serve 4,300 students. 300 of which get instruments, get classes every week. The partnerships that we have help us to grow and to sustain those students. So we have partnerships with universities such as Northern Arizona University. And we're sending students to, so for example, with Northern Arizona University, what we do is they have a summer program that our students participate in the summer. So then a big thing that I've noticed with some of our students is they don't leave their zip codes. So if they live in 85014, they stay in 85014. They don't know that there's a symphony hall. They don't know where the baseball team plays. They don't know where the Cardinals play. They know 85014. So we take them out of 85014 so that they can learn more about Arizona. Northern Arizona helps us with that because these students now go to NAU. They're able to take college courses, meet with some of the college professors, meet with other youth that do the same things that they do. And so it normalizes everything. So this thing called college that I can't do it, I can't afford it, it's beyond me, I'm not smart enough, they now meet people and go, oh, you're just like me. So it normalizes everything. We also partner with places such as the Phoenix Center for the Arts to help do some of the classes. Valley of the Sun Violins helps to provide some of the instruments. And then Phoenix Symphony also helps to expose kids to different types of art. And then same with Crescent Ballroom. So even though we started with string instruments, we have grown to piano and guitar as well. And there are a lot of opportunities for students to see guitar, piano players, keyboard players even. We've remained sustainable in Arizona through program and charitable contributions. So most of which are charitable contributions that we do through donations and grants, and then our charity events. And then although we do have a fee for students, our goal is to become a tuition-free music program, and right now 84% of the students that are in our program are on scholarship. But then we can get there by making sure that we're doing a better job with those donations, those grants, and those charity events. The schools that we are with, we have a huge presence in the West Valley, and as I mentioned, South Phoenix, Central Phoenix, those are places that we're discovering have pockets of areas that don't have music programs as well. So we're growing in those areas, and we're going to be doing a piano program at Grand Canyon University to serve some of the students of those school districts as well. Now, students can take music classes at a couple other places in the Valley, but what makes Sounds Academy unique is the fact that we're focused on outreach. So we go out to places that don't have those music programs, and we give the lessons, we do the group classes, and then we also have our musical access, which is exposing kids to those music opportunities, and then we give out instruments so those kids can practice. We reach schools, we reach students, we reach everyone, our community, through our instrument petting zoos, our musical access programs, our social media phone calls. But what brings everyone together are community performances. So for example, we just did a community performance in the West Valley where we went to a retirement home and played for the residents of that retirement home. And then after we play, our students interact with those residents, and then they have conversations, and they have a grand old time. I heard one resident telling some of our students about his past girlfriends, at which point our students grow up really fast. Now, what do all of these people have in common? Great question, Brooks. All these people were able to take music lessons at an early age, which taught them how to think outside of the box at an early age. So even though they all did not become musicians, they all took that skill and used it in what they were doing in their profession. A lot of times people ask, you know, why music education? Why should I support Sounds Academy? I decide I'm going to make chocolate chip cookies. I go and get the sugar, I get the flour, I get the eggs, I get the vanilla extract, and of course I get the chocolate chips. I mix it all in a bowl, I make the cookie balls, put them on a sheet, put in the oven. I wait, and I take them out. And they're flat and hard. I don't waste food. So I eat my flat and hard cookies with milk while watching my cartoons. My aunt comes in and she sees what I'm eating and she goes, what is this? I said, chocolate chip cookies. And then I told her the process, what I did, and then she chuckles at me the way that adults chuckle at children because we're so ignorant and don't know everything, even though we think we do. And she said, you forgot the baking soda. And I said, I don't like baking soda, it doesn't taste good. She said, that's not what the baking soda's for. I said, it only said a tablespoon of baking soda. I don't need baking soda. And then she said, you need the baking soda because the baking soda is the rising agent. And my mind went, poof. And so music education is the rising agent. So yes, it's important for students to have English, it's important for them to have science, it's important for them to have athletics. But to me, music education is the rising agent. Now, some of you may know there's a lot of statistics that talk about how students excel in their overall studies. They score higher on aptitude tests, state testing, things of that nature. But for me, the biggest thing that we do is we take students that are like this and we turn them into students that are like this. And we've been doing that since year one. It's something that we didn't strive to do, but then as you work with such youth that are so inspiring and such great individuals, you try to figure out what do they want to do and how can I support that. And when our first graduate, or first senior, I should say, said, I want to audition for a college. It was like, okay. So she auditions for a college and she gets in and she gets a scholarship. And then the rest of them just want to audition. And all of them don't do music. So we have individuals that work in political science. We have individuals that do biology. And we knew that this is what they wanted to do, but then we also knew that you can get a scholarship to go to college if you can play an instrument and still do the major that you want to do, even if it's business. And so we have students that are, we have a student that is at U of A, business major, music minor, and has a music scholarship and an academic scholarship to be there. You guys can help us in a number of ways. So we're a young organization, and with being a young organization, we're still learning a lot, we're still doing a lot. So we are always looking for volunteers. We're looking for donations. We are a QCO, which stands for Qualifying Charitable Organization. And what that means, individuals that pay Arizona state taxes can donate $400 to us, and get those donations back through their Arizona state tax. But what if I already donate to a school? Good question, Randy. If you donate to a school, you can donate to a school, donate to us, and get $600 back in Arizona state taxes. You can also sponsor a student. So sponsor a student so that they can take classes, they can take lessons, go on some of the things that we talked about today, or sponsor an entire school program so that they can be exposed to music education. You can also serve on a committee or serve on our board of directors. And specifically right now, we are growing our board and looking for individuals that have expertise in accounting, in fundraising, in capacity building, and in legal expertise. So our dream is not over, and we need you guys to help us keep this thing going. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Mike, for having me speak to you guys about Sounds Academy and music education. And at this time, I'll take questions from you guys.
What would you say the most popular instrument now that you see kids picking up?
When these kids go to an instrument petting zoo, it's like going to Disney World for them. So they see the instruments and they want to play all the instruments. So they don't really have a favorite instrument. They all gravitate towards all the instruments. And the cool thing about it is when we find venues that are big enough for us to support all the instruments, they can try all the instruments multiple times. So there's no real answer for that except to say that music is what they like. And I think that music is one of those things that even as babies, if you watch a baby, if you watch a child clean their room, they do this thing where they're like, clean up, everybody, everywhere. Like it's in you, it's intrinsic. And then when you can learn to take that intrinsic thing that you love and make it a discipline, it just translates into everything else that you do. In order for us to keep on serving children, we can't teach just string instruments. So I'll tell you guys a secret that not a lot of people know. Sounds actually stands for Students Opening Up New Doors with Strings, and that's how we started. But then when we found out we need more instruments, we started adding guitar, then we added piano, and then we have about 100 woodwind and brass instruments that we need to get refurbished. So that's going to be a project that we're going to have where we get to refurbish those instruments and then give them to give them to children so that they can learn how to play them. And then of course we're going to have a choir, and then we're going to have bands. This thing's going to be great.
And you have one drum kit.
And we have one drum kit that we did a concert with 2 weeks ago, May 18th. We did a concert at AZ Opera, and the students performed Brandenburg Concerto No. 3 and Don't Stop Believing. So we try to keep everything diverse so that they keep that passion. Any donation that we get, whether it be monetary donations, stock donations, instrumental donations, we're able to give you a tax receipt for it. We have 43, so we serve 4,300, and through that musical access, we have 4,000, which means that we're doing the instrument petting zoos for those students, so it's a one-time contact type thing. But then the other 300 are students that are with us throughout the whole year. So they get the instrument, they get classes, lessons throughout the entire year.
Is there a specific age that you're introducing?
We have 3-year-olds in our program, and we have 2 preschool programs. We call them sound bites, and they're little 3 and 4. And they turn 5. So 3, 4, and 5-year-olds that play in preschool, and they get to learn the violin.
Like if you had a 16-year-old who wanted to start now,
Yeah, we go K through 12, so 3-year-olds to 12. Yeah. We don't substitute the entire music program for a school. What we do is the instrumental part, we add that to supplement the general music program that they have. And so we also have conversations with schools on how do we start a general music program? So we don't do that, but we'll give them resources to start that general music program, how to get a set of classroom instruments, and then after they get established with that, we can now do a guitar ensemble. And then that guitar ensemble can grow to 2 or 3 guitar ensembles, at which point they can then hire another teacher to work within that school district. So the good dream would be if we're not necessary anymore. So we grow to the point where schools need something to start, they get started, they see how well this works, then they could start to hire full-time instrumental music teachers. With Phoenix Symphony, if any of you have ever been to a children's concert, Harry Potter concert, Star Wars concert, we do the instrument petting zoos for Phoenix Symphony. And our students are the ones that lead the instrument petting zoos. So that's one way we partner with them. And then we also do master classes with the Phoenix Symphony. And what a master class is, a young performer goes on a stage, they perform a piece that they've been working on. A member of the Phoenix Symphony gives them feedback on that piece, and it's in a group setting. So that person is getting the feedback and changing things that the Phoenix Symphony members telling them on the spot. So it's a good experience they get to work with Phoenix Symphony members. And then it also, I think it's very important in the arts for the youth to have a positive connection with the arts, so that when they're older and able to buy their tickets, they're now supporting arts. So it's the cyclical thing that's happening in supporting the arts. Oh, we have such great volunteers. So we have volunteers that may volunteer for one-offs. So that means we have like instrument cleanings, let's say. And then we have interns that volunteer with us for a semester or 2 semesters, which means they're doing the back end of what we do. They come in 2 to 3 times a week for about 6 months. And then we have committee members that volunteer. So they help to put on concerts. We have a events committee. So they help with a concert and they help with a fundraising event. And then our board of directors, they volunteer their time as well to help grow the organization. So there's multiple levels of volunteering in different capacities depending upon the time that the individual has.
Was that awesome? So, thanks so much. Thank you. So, I thank you so much for sharing your passion with our community and filling the gap that's been left by the schools for this important music that we're doing. So, did you tell everybody what you play?
No, I did not. I play a lot of instruments, but mainly string instruments is what I play. And violin, viola, things like that is what I like to play. Awesome.
Well, we've made a donation to one of our charities, and we'd like to present you with this certificate in your name to the Salvation Army's Adult Rehabilitation Center. They have a 6-month inpatient program for drug and alcohol abuse. And I thank you so much for being here today. It was very enlightening, and we thank you for everything you do for our community.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. All right.